Okay.
This is the most confusing one, was that the Lehman Russ's defence was increased from 100 to 150. Not many people
a
actually.
Large increase.
That's quite. That's about 50% increase.
Yeah.
So your Lehman Russ has already got big tanks, high hit points. They're quite good.
Yeah.
But so this is a bit of a confusing one, but it makes them a great buy.
I suppose they are tier 3, aren't they?
Yeah, they're a little bit more pricey than others, but it means they'll beat their competition quite steadfast.
Is it one of only 2 tier 3 units available?
Yeah, so the Baneblade's the other one.
Baneblade
So
is the super unit. So
yeah.
I mean that makes them surely quite good.
Yeah, it makes them a perfect buy.
It's the only tier 3 unit that isn't a super unit.
Well, you
want
don't.
it to be quite powerful.
Yeah, so that's the thing though. Is how the Lehman Russ wasn't doing very well compared to other tanks previously.
Whether they're comparatively powerful.
Yeah.
You don't have to answer that.
No. Obviously, one's a super unit. It's very slow and has big guns.
Yeah.
And the others are Lehman Russ. And
Baneblade is fun to use.
I know a Baneblade's fun to use, but Lehman Russ is, by the time you've paid whatever it is, 500, 600 requisition and over 100 power to get it out onto the field.
You may as well wait for the extra minute.
And get a Baneblade. But of course, you have to get a gun upgrade on the Lehman Russ if you want it to be specialised in any way.
And you have to wait for the armour.
Yeah, so if you want him to last to that little bit longer, you have to pay for the armour. You have to pay for the turret, and you might as well just get a Baneblade and repair it with all your guardsmen on the field.
Yeah.
It's a step in the right direction, but your decision is still is it really necessary to get a Lehman Russ, which is going to get killed very quickly by anti-vehicle?
Yeah, if anyone really wants to
they
get
are
it.
slow.
Yeah, of course.
So, I guess that pretty much covers Imperial Guard. Onto the Eldar. So, all the work previously, the Farseer's webway gates had infiltration.
Yeah.
And
so you run around trying to find webway gates.
Well,
they blown up their HQ or something, wasn't it?
No, that's Dawn of War 1.
Oh, of course, yeah.
Yeah, now you're thinking too far back.
Well, yeah,
everyone remembers that cheese.
When this comes to this.
But so the Farseer's webway gate's got an infiltration ability a couple of patches back to make it. Or I think it was with the introduction of Retribution. They got infiltration. Don't see much Farseer, as you can tell.
Yeah.
Bit of a rubbish hero, in my opinion. But there you go. But she got a lot of changes. She got a redesigned. What was it? Runes of Reaping. So Runes of Reaping were now redesigned to give her more energy. Rune Armor had its energy regeneration increased, so she's going to spam a lot more energy-based skills depending on her cooldown. Channeling Runes has reduced in cost. Channeling Runes is a bit of a better buy. Heart of Darkness now restores hit points. Doesn't say how much, but that's a pretty good. But Heart of Darkness is a very well named accessory for the Warlock. The Warp Spider's anti-gravity grenades no longer lock units from retreating, which is a good thing considering that was all removed a while ago.
I hate Warp Spiders.
And Warp Spider got a lot of nerfs.
Just from the last stand, they're fuckers.
Yeah. The Seer Council can't level now. Sorry, I forgot that. So as part of the Knob and Assault Terminator,
they've been lumped in with.
They've been lumped in with the.
Are they an end game unit?
Oh yeah, they're the Farseer's end game summon, almost like Assault Terminators for the Force Commander.
Sure. Okay.
So. Tyranids.
Nids, yeah.
Yeah, Tyranids got a lot of nerfs this patch.
Oh right.
A lot of Ravener's ranged weapon moved to tier 2. That's going to mess them up. Hormagaunts were completely changed. They don't leap anymore. They'll charge.
Oh right.
And they don't move. With their upgrade, they don't get the extra speed boost, so they can run around all the time.
Sure. All right.
So that was one. Let's see. Ravener traps aren't so silly now. Warrior cost was slightly reduced. Rippers are back in the game. You can spawn them for 50 requisition and 100 red. You can spawn some Rippers using without number, which is redesigned.
They're always fun.
It's fun to see them back.
They're always fun in the tabletop.
Yeah.
They're pretty useless. I don't think they ever did. I don't think they had very good stats, but they had 4 wounds. So you put them in a line in front of your valuable units, and in one of the editions of the rulebooks, they blocked line of sight, so you'd have to line up your space marines with all your heavy bolters and shit, and go and get rid of all these bloody rippers before, and then go oh fucking hell, there's a hive tyrant standing right next to my way. Lovely, tasty men.
But it was almost like that back in original Dawn of War 2.
Yeah.
You remember everyone was spam Rippers. Favourite strategy? 3 versus 3. 3 Hive Tyrants. Just spam Rippers the whole game. Fucking hilarious.
They're like little ET wormy things. They're cool. I mean, I don't know about if they're competitive or what. not, but they're just. I mean, they're one of those.
It's not even commanders. It's just funny.
It's one of those units that are just really fun.
It's a shame there's nothing silly like that in the game anymore. But that's how things roll nowadays, I guess.
I guess they're trying to make it competitive.
Yeah, and the Hive Tyrant's improved silence has dropped in cost from £40 to £30, so it makes it a nicer buy. Brood Nest, for some reason, got a cost reduction, completely unnecessary. Bioplasma now ignores terrain, so it won't clip every damn time. Yep, same as Plasma Gun. Because Bioplasma was always a good ability, but it was slow, and it had travel time, and it was just a pain in the arse when it always clipped on everything. Enhanced Muscle Coil was moved to Tier 1, so Raveners were redesigned to be jump troops in Tier 1. Right. And they don't get their ranged weapon until Tier 2 now, so they're a lot more...
So they're close combat, Tier 1?
Yeah, they're much more likely to see them in close combat now if they do build them in Tier 1, if they can be bothered.
Yeah, they can be bothered.
The most important thing is that the range synapse is gone. So before you'd get, like, Tyranids would spam range units in Tier 1, especially Raveners with Devourer, and what are they, Termagants, with their guns, and Crippling Shot. And then just go to Tier 2, spam out some Venom Cannon Warriors to have some anti-vehicle and a range synapse, and then go to Tier 3 and get a Carnifex. And you were like, well, fuck, what are we going to do against that? So that's thankfully been changed a bit. So Venom Warriors now need like an upgrade, which is £30, so it should slow their Tier 3 down a little.
Okay, sure. Okay, finally Orcs.
Yeah, it brings us on to Orcs. So... a Big Bang Hammer is now a good buy. The Warboss seem to get a lot of buffs all round, so Spiky Armour is a good buy, giving regeneration. It does more damage per hit. The Battle Wagon had quite a big damage. It almost doubled its main cannon damage, which is quite something.
Fair, I'd say my only experience is from like comp stomping, but I'd say they've never been particularly. They're like quite tough, but you're never particularly bothered about them.
Well, they're actually one of the weakest super units.
Yeah, no, they're not. I mean, compared to a Baneblade,
you're like, compared to a Baneblade, a Battle Wagon's like
meh.
Like Land Raider Redeemer and Baneblade are the two nastiest that you can get. Well, because you just repair them and everything retreats them, and they have flamers and all that fucking nonsense, and it just pisses you off, doesn't it, by the end of it? But there you go. And so thankfully the Battle Wagon will probably be a good buy now.
Okay.
And there was a couple other consistency changes. So the Make Boy turret does more suppression. Booby traps are reduced in cost, although I'm not sure why. Only 20 requisition. Kaboom was reduced in energy cost, and that wasn't the problem with it. A lot of people said the problem is the damage it does to the commando. So it's almost suicidal to run in, place a bomb down, and then try and kill your own commander just to get at the enemy team. But it depends on the trade-off. I've seen some pretty good kabooms in my time, so pulled off a few myself. And then the Looter Beamy Death Gun is now 75 rec. So that's quite a change, I'd say. Stick bombers now stun vehicles more per grenade. Okay. So if you manage to land 4 grenades on a target, that's going to stun it for 10 seconds. So against vehicles, it's going to be really good for for countering vehicles, especially in the later tiers. Sluggers are reduced in cost. That's really good news. It means that their reinforcement cost will have gone down as well, and that's the biggest thing, is where you just lose like 5 of your sluggers to some Warp Spider X-Arch, and then you have to replace 5 bloody sluggers to get the squad any good again, and then they go out and die again. So it's one of the most painful units to reinforce. Should be a lot easier to reinforce now.
Cool.
There was a couple of confusing changes to knobs, as well as their removal of leveling. They can become invulnerable for less red now. Right. Which is a bit weird. But overall, it's been quite a